These hypotheticals have got us in a chokehold, and we must free ourselves. It's fun to argue about. It's fun to talk about what you would do in this scenario, or would you leave the game if the seats were high, or if a man took you this place on a first date, what you would do. And I'm telling you, like, every interaction that I have with people now, in some way or another, these things come up. Can we just keep it a buck? If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want. Fine, funny, money. You're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that shit you talked on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman ain't because women this and men this. You're moving forward with this person.
Okay. Funny, fine, and finances.
Let me take this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So here's the thing. We're not gonna talk about just me personally right now. I'm gonna talk about women as a whole and like what I've witnessed, right? So she's talking about how people talk on social media be a lot different in real life because...
For sure.
You know, she said if the person is fine enough, right? If they funny enough, they got jokes. And that I'm going to have to say I agree with her, actually, for a lot of women. And I say for a lot of women.
Okay, a lot of women.
Because when you look at a lot of women who are in the predicament that they are in, right?
Okay.
You have a lot of single moms. You have a lot. I'm just being honest. You have a lot of women saying, you know, they're complaining about this and this and this and that, and men ain't nothing and this and that, right?
Yeah.
It was something that led you to get with them, right? In most situations, it was something. They looked good. They looked like they had money at the time. They had a nice car, right? That's with money. Or they was funny, just need somebody to make me laugh, whatever. We just kicking it, blah, blah, blah. Kicking it led up to some other things. So I would say it's a lot of truth to what she's saying. Because I feel like those type of women are the ones on social media now saying, right? Like, you take you to the Cheesecake Factory, a main chain? I don't think so. Like, that's lowering my standards and things. And I'm like, but let's take a look at your track record.
Right.
Let's take a look at the people you've been with. Look like those standards was lowered a long time ago. So I'm going to say generally, she ain't lied. Like, everybody got a price, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak for myself. And I'm going to say, I've always had this mentality is nice is not enough, right? That right there, a good guy, blah, 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 is not enough, right? And so I had to actually live it out. I had to actually show it through my actions. And I feel like, no, like there's a lot of people, you know, you see, you be like, oh, you look good, blah, blah, blah. But then I find out about this, and I'm like, dang, I'd be mad, I'd be salty, right? I'm talking about like when I was in high school, college, whatever. But I just was like, no, I cannot, because I know in the long run, those things don't matter in the big picture.
I think that's good. I think everything you said was good. It sounds to me like what you were talking about when you're saying like a lot of what girls say versus what they do.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like a lot of them will pick up on one of those F's. So like, oh, he's funny. And that's one of them that they'll go with. Or, oh, he's fine. Or, oh, he got money. Things like that.
Especially that.
And what Joey was saying in the clip was like, oh, all three of those is really what it comes down to. If you have those three, then girls just throw themselves at you. And
did she say all three, or you got one of those?
I think she meant all of it.
Okay.
I think she said all of those things together is what girls are really looking for. Now, she might have meant like those, typically what it comes down to.
Those are the three that can make the standards and what you wouldn't do. I think when
she was saying like them throwing themselves at a guy if they have all three of those things. But obviously we know from experience, not necessarily engaging, but like seeing things that we've observed.
Yeah.
A lot of women only take one of those three. If you got money, it's gonna be women out there for a guy.
Yeah. If
you're funny, you could be as ugly as I don't know what, but you got a good personality, good sense of humor, and all that stuff. That'll go a long way.
Yeah, have a good time.
And obviously, if you're fine, like it's dudes that ain't got no money, but they look good and stuff like that. And there's women out there for you. So we've seen kind of like that. But all three of those things, I think, generally speaking, a guy that has all those three things, I think is gonna have a better shot with women. But I think what I want to articulate out of that is, it's not so much that I disagree with her. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to build on what you're talking about, where it's like nice isn't enough. All those are really nice things. Person doesn't necessarily have to be funny for a woman to like them, you know. Fine, I mean, what do you mean by fine? I mean, everybody fine to somebody in some context.
Nah, it means like, You picture perfect.
If you're saying like, yeah, that guy is just like, you know, just so attractive, like way above average, basically. Well, yeah, but you don't got to be fine though. You can be good. You can look good and not be fine at the same time. Is how I kind of think of it. So, and you don't have to be rich to also necessarily pull women. Like all of those things are obvious. So all three together is nice, but I think it has to go a step further than all of those things. I think what we push for here is we care about character. I think those core values oftentimes get neglected because those are things that people look at financial stability, and that's a very important thing. We would not underrate that when it comes to relationships. We do think that financial stability in a man and in a woman are both important things, and they're foundational as well. But as far as looks, we obviously want you to be with somebody that you're attracted to. That goes without saying. Whether they are the best looking or average or, you know, someone that you, I don't know how to put it nicely, but like you start to like them more, you know, over time. But maybe initially you're like, yeah, they're not my cup of tea. That can happen. It happens a lot. And then the other one, funny and personality funny. Like none of those things necessarily, except for finance, are foundational pieces that really, I think, are the end of the world. I think a lot of people get caught up in those first two, funny and fine, to where you'll completely overlook their finances, or funny and fine will be something that makes you completely overlook. Do they have good character? How do they treat people? There's some funny people out here that are also some jerks that are mean, you know, talk about everybody and their mama. It's a lot of different things that go, I think, into this conversation that we can't neglect. And that's one of the things that comes to mind. And yes, I do believe a lot of women will jump at a man that has all three, even two of the three, even one of the three a lot of times. But what I would say is there needs to be something else. There needs to be something else. I don't know. I don't have an F word on top that I could think of that would fit that whole dynamic. But it needs to be something that deals with their character, their spirituality. You know, something that addresses, do they have any vices? Like, are they addicted to alcohol or any drugs and things like that? You know, I just think there needs to be something that goes past these things, even though I think finances is important, but I also think that plays out in a person's integrity and how they carry themselves as well, so it can even be grouped into there. But I think there has to be something deeper that people look at when it comes to relationships. It has to be deeper than sex. I think it has to be deeper than affection with another person just because it's cold outside in the winter. You know, it has to go deeper than being with somebody that looks good that everybody else can look at me and say like, oh yeah, I got the right one, or I got a baddie. You know, it has to be deeper than that. I think it has to be something spiritual. I think it has to be something spiritually connecting. I think it has to be faith. It has to be, you know, marriage. It has to be wanting to have a family. All of those, it has to be something deeper.
Now, I will keep in mind, yes, money is something that we actually do need. You're going to need that to build a future with somebody, all those things. But when you say that those things are what would attract a woman and make everything else go out the window, if a woman knows that a man, like, got money, right, it's typically not, oh, he's a wonderful saver and he has a lot of, you know, savings and things and plans for his future. No, it's, I see his money visually through his car, through what he wear, through, you know, this and this, he's talking about it. He can take me on trips, blah, blah, blah. That type of flaunt type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So you're not even talking about the guys who seriously got good insurance and things like that. You know, they don't need to flaunt it, right? Because they got it, and they're always thinking about, you know, saving, living below their means, things like that.
Yeah, we got to parse it out even further. So when we're talking about, a lot of women, when they talk about finances, some women mean just, you know, take me out on trips, we can do things, blah, blah, blah. But I think what a lot of women really care more about than those things is that's security. It's safety in knowing that this person can take care of you, that they have the means in which you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep at. You know, it's like that security aspect, I think, is very big for women. So I do think on that level, it makes sense. But if it's just
we go after the other one.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people go after the others. And I think that's a very young, immature thing. I think as women get older, that's the first thing women are thinking about when they get out of college. You know, it's like they're trying to figure out, you know, where they're going to work, you know, where they're going to live, things like that. So I do think that matters. I think there's a lot of layers in this. I think it's important for us to discuss the things that women and men desire out of relationships, or things that attract. So, because that's what this starts with. We're talking about attraction. So yeah, a woman will jump at a guy that shows, you know, that's fine, has finances together, and
Funny.
it's funny. Like we know that they'll jump at that, but it's like, okay, should you be like, should those necessarily be the thing that opens up the door for our relationships? And I would just push back and say that there needs to be other things. A good man, like not a nice guy just because, oh, he's nice or whatever, but like an actual good man in his character, in his integrity, things that you see over the course of time that you don't get up front all the time. Sometimes you have to see it and just watching him, see if he'll hold the door open for someone, see if he'll offer selfless service to people, seeing does he serve in his church, things like that. And I think that goes vice versa, seeing those intangibles that you don't get just from looking at how somebody is, or seeing the quality of clothing they have and things like that. Sometimes that can even be an indication that, you know, they waste a lot of money.
Yeah. And one last thing I think is important, when you talk about all those standards and things just go out the window, if those standards include, again, like what are these standards that she's talking about that was so easily tossed, right? If they were really shallow standards, like, you know, again, you're not going to go to this type of restaurant, or he wants to take you somewhere to eat, but he's dressed regular, or things like that. Like, those standards weren't great anyway. If those standards weren't things that's going to help you last and have a successful, healthy relationship anyways, because again, it's all surface level.
Yeah, it seems like she was saying like, oh, I'd be with this person because they're white, or oh, I wouldn't be with this person because they're short. I wouldn't be with this person because
the height is a big one. Yeah,
you know, various things. It's a lot of different things that women, and then there's even men, I think they would say. But yeah, she was talking in the context of women. There's like little things
she said, what they be on Instagram and stuff, talking and yapping about, blah blah blah. They go out the window.
You watch sports all day. All, you know, all of those different things. So those are our thoughts. We love to know what you all think. Leave a comment below if you enjoyed this. Make sure you like this video before you head out, and let us know your thoughts.